Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a review about God of War Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok is not just a sequel, it is a culmination. It stands as a powerful conclusion to the Norse saga begun in God of War 2018, delivering a deeply emotional narrative wrapped in visceral combat, mythological spectacle, and character driven storytelling. Santa Monica Studio crafts a game that is as much about internal battles as it is about apocalyptic war, asking what it truly means to change when the past refuses to stay buried. At its core, Ragnarok is about parenthood, destiny, and responsibility, told through the evolving relationship between Kratos and Atreus, while the world around them collapses under the weight of prophecy. Kratos' journey in God of War Ragnarok is one of the most profound character evolutions in modern gaming. Once defined by rage, vengeance, and destruction, Kratos now exists in a constant struggle between who he was and who he must become. Kratos begins the game fearful not of enemies but of failure. He fears that Atreus will repeat his mistakes, and his son's growing independence will lead him down a path of bloodshed and regret. His parenting style remains rigid and protective, often bordering on emotionally distant, but Ragnarok slowly dismantles this armor. Throughout the game, Kratos learns that guidance does not mean control. He must accept that Atreus will make choices he cannot dictate. Some of the most powerful moments in the story come not from epic battles, but from quiet conversations where Kratos struggles to express love, pride, and trust. When he finally allows Atreus to walk his own path, it is one of the most earned emotional payoffs in the series. Kratos' growth as a god is even more striking. He actively rejects the idea that gods are destined to bring suffering. The game challenges him with characters who believe cruelty is inevitable for beings of power, and Kratos stands as a living contradiction. He chooses mercy when vengeance would be easier. He chooses protection over domination. By the end of Ragnarok, Kratos transforms from a god of destruction into a god of hope, a radical and deeply moving evolution that redefines his legacy. Atreus' arc is equally compelling, portraying the confusion and recklessness of youth layered with divine responsibility. He is no longer simply Kratos' son, he is Loki, a figure burdened with prophecy and expectation. Atreus wrestles with the feeling that Kratos doesn't fully trust him. His desire to help, to prevent Ragnarok, to understand prophecy, to save giants, often puts him at odds with his father. This conflict feels painfully real, mirroring the universal struggle between parental control and a child's need for autonomy. Atreus is driven by empathy. Unlike many gods in the series, he genuinely wants to save lives, even those deemed enemies. However, his idealism sometimes blinds him to manipulation, particularly when he is dealing with Odin. Ragnarok does not portray Atreus as perfect. He makes mistakes with real consequences, reinforcing that growth comes through failure as much as intention. By the end, Atreus emerges as his own person, still learning, still searching, but no longer redefined solely by prophecy or lineage. Freya's role in God of War Ragnarok is one of pain and transformation. Initially consumed by rage after the death of Balder, she stands as a mirror to Kratos' former self, a reminder of what unchecked grief can become. Her journey is one of healing and forgiveness, not just towards Kratos, but towards herself. As the game progresses, Freya evolves from an antagonist to ally, reclaiming her strength and purpose. Her struggle with Odin's manipulation and abuse adds emotional depth to her character, highlighting themes of control, trauma, and reclaiming agency. Freya ultimately becomes one of the game's strongest voices against tyranny, representing resilience and earned wisdom. Odin is a masterfully written antagonist. Standing apart from traditional depictions of godly villains, he's not loud or physically imposing. Instead, he's calculating, charismatic, and deeply unsettling. And this is felt in the opening scene when he comes to meet Kratos and Atreus, he seems like he's so friendly, but his intentions say otherwise. Odin's greatest weapon is information. He manipulates truth, half truths, and fear, presenting himself as reasonable while orchestrating cruelty behind the scenes. His obsession with knowledge and control makes him terrifying, not because of raw power, but because of how easily he exploits others' weaknesses. He represents the danger of intelligence without empathy, a god who believes the ends justify any means necessary. His closest ally, Heimdall, is the embodiment of divine entitlement. His ability to read intentions makes him cruel, smug, and sadistic. Unlike Odin's subtle manipulation, Heimdall is openly vicious, reveling in his perceived superiority, and you can feel this the first time you meet him. You feel like, damn, can we just not kill this guy? Just like that, you immediately hate him from the beginning. His character mirrors, um, what's that character from God of War 3? The one with the lightning fast feet, but you all know who I'm talking about. His confrontations with Kratos are significant not just for their brutality, but for what they symbolize. Heimdall believes himself untouchable, destined to rule over lesser beings, and his downfall is a stark reminder that arrogance, even backed by divine power, leads only to ruin. Thor, on the other hand, is perhaps one of the most surprising characters in Ragnarok. Initially portrayed as a brutal enforcer of Odin's will, the game gradually reveals a deeply broken individual, haunted by his past and his actions. Thor is a good Thor is a god crushed by expectation, guilt, and addiction. His relationship with his family, particularly his daughter Thread, exposes his inner conflict. He's not evil by nature, he's a weapon shaped by Odin's manipulation and his own self loathing, which makes him the perfect tool of destruction for Odin's sadistic and selfish intentions. Thor's story is tragic, emphasizing that even gods can be victims and that redemption is often denied to those who believe they are beyond saving. My final thoughts on God of War Ragnarok: I believe this game is a masterclass in narrative driven game design. It blends emotional storytelling with epic scale, offering players not just spectacle but reflection. It asks hard questions about fate, response, and gods included can truly change. It makes you question your intentions and what you want with your future and your life. And it reminds you that you're the one that are in control of your decisions and you are the one that are in control of your fate. Through Kratos and Atreus, the game shows that growth is painful, uncertain, and never complete, but it is possible. And in a world of gods defined by cruelty and ego, that message feels powerful, resonant, and deeply human. God of War Ragnarok does not just end the saga, it elevates it. It closes a book that was so beautiful and which storytelling just affected you in a way, but in a positive way. It made you rethink a lot of certain things. When I first played God of War Ragnarok, I was expecting just an ending that was fitting, which was destruction of Asgard. But as I played the game and as I got closer and closer to the end, I just realized that the whole point of the story is not to just accept fate, but to do your best to try and rewrite it to your best ending. You are in control of your life and your fate. You decide what happens and how it happens. And that to me is a beautiful message. So if you enjoyed this video, I would recommend you playing God of War Ragnarok 100% for sure. But if you did enjoy it, please make sure to stick around by subscribing with the notification bell on, leave a like, and share this with your friends, man. But that's it. Peace.